I gotta carry a camera on me because often when these ideas flows into my head, I just need to start recording because like that's the most rawest form of content right there, right? I gotta just do it myself until, I can have somebody actually follow me and record my day, right? When we're doing more interesting things. But something dawned on me, and I just had a conversation with one of my brothers, right? And he was saying, whatever you do, you have to do it for God, right? Whatever you do, you have to do it for God. And it got to a point where I told him, I didn't understand him. Like, I hear you, but I don't understand you, right? I hear you, but I don't understand you. I don't know what that means, right? But I watched a video by Casey Zander, right? Casey Zander. And he basically described irrefutable proof that God is real, right? This is how a logical mind can, prove to himself that God is real. And I'm going to reiterate what he said. He said that this is how you can know God is real, right? He put his hand up, right? He was like, my brain is smart enough to tell my hand to do that, right? Now I put it down. Now I put it up again, and I put it up again, and I put on my hand like that. My brain is smart enough to tell my hand to do that, right? So do you think Mother Nature can do that? Do you think Mother Nature's smart enough to do that? Like, who's telling the mountains to rise? Who's telling the rain to fall, right? Who's telling the trees to grow and bear fruits, right? And to me, I feel like not a lot of people will get that, but that's like something crazy that he said. I don't know where he got it from. I don't know if it was an original thought, but that's like, it's really brilliant if you really just think about it, because I'm smart enough to tell my hand to go like that, right? That's a relationship, right? But who do you think is doing it for Earth? Who do you think sets those boundaries in play? If you drop something, gravity falls. Who is smart enough to come up with that, right? Who's smart enough to put these rules in play? And that's what I've been saying. Like atheists, I don't know, they rave about science, right? They rave about science, but to me, that's proof that God exists. Like, I kind of had the same philosophy already. It's like, who created the science, right? Who put those rules in play? So basically, I just thought about that, right? And I don't know how I relayed it back to this, but it was like, basically I had the answer to what he said. Do it for God. He said, do it for God. Whatever you do it for God. And it's like, who are we doing all of this for, right? Like, who are we trying to attain all these goals for? Are we doing it for ourselves? Are we doing it for our family? To a certain extent, that's not enough, right? Because let's say if your family gets you mad or something like that, or basically, let's say if you don't have a family, right? Who are you going to do it for, right? If everybody around you does have a family, but you don't have a family, right? Like, who are you going to do it for, right? Are you going to do it for yourself? Like, who you should do it for is God, right? He said, build your business for God. If you purchase something, purchase it for God. Purchase for this. Or if you do this, do it for God. And I know what that means. I don't know why it clicked, but I know what that means. It's like, you have to do these things to further God's agenda, right? So what's the end goal of building your business, right? Like, do you want to build a ton of churches? Do you want to give back to the poor? Do you want to put yourself in a position to feed thousands of kids? Or do you want to satisfy your own greed and basically use your money to like fornicate or do this and do that, right? Like, with your goals, are you breeding blessings or are you breeding sin, right? So I believe from that, I know what was said when he said, do it for God. He didn't even know himself. One of his mentors told him, do it for God. And he told his mentor, he don't understand that. He was like, exactly. I don't understand it either. And I've been trying to figure it out. But yeah, I think I just figured out, do it for God, right? And with these businesses that I'm trying to build, was I doing it to satisfy my worldly desires? Why was I doing it? Was I doing it to protect my family? I mean, multiple answers can be said, but the number one person I have to do it for is God. With all that wealth and all these things that I'm trying to attain, I have to eventually give it back, right? And once you break that relationship between yourself and what you're trying to do, right, and you do it for a higher being, a higher power, now all of a sudden, like, you're accomplishing your goals. Now all of a sudden, you're crushing your goals. Ask yourself, why are you why are you doing the things that you're doing? Ask yourself that. And honestly, Stuss Graham was basically open to a plethora of people, right? But I have to be very, very careful of who I open it up to, because with these things, essentially, I'm creating people that can go out and conquer the world, right? If you do everything right, if you learn, if you build your physique so you look a certain way, you're grabbing attention, you're like, everything's easy off of your physique, right? You know how to talk, right? Like, your sales skills are through the roof. You know how to negotiate, right? And you know how to public speak, right? Those are all good signs of a leader, right? But those are all good signs of somebody that knows how to lead for the better, right? But those are all good signs for people that know how to lead for the worse too, right? So I have to really be careful with who I work with. So I got to be, I have to vet a little bit more people out, because essentially I'm handing you a handbook to build businesses at alarming rates, to basically go out and stand down in the room and control the crowd. Like, that's what basically Stuss Graham teaches you how to do. So we have to we have to be very, very careful with who we work with, or maybe we might just have to increase the barrier of entry. But whatever you're doing, if you're gonna take away one thing from this video, whatever you're doing, right, you got to do it for God. Be careful what you do. You have to do it for God. Eventually, just do it for God, right? Always ground yourself. Stay away from those worldly desires, right? Because those are the things that will take you from the spot that you're supposed to be in. I just want to leave you guys with that today. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.